Stephen Hawking's surprising private life, divorces, Epstein photo and passionate love. British physicist Stephen Hawking's personal life has resurfaced after a photo of him on a sunbed with two women was released in the Epstein documents. Details surrounding Professor Stephen Hawking's personal life have re-emerged following the release of a photograph showing him reclining on a sunbed flanked by two women in bikinis. The British astrophysicist and cosmologist, who passed away in 2018 at age 76, can be seen smiling in the image released alongside millions of documents related to convicted offender Jeffrey Epstein by the U.S. Department of Justice this month. No information is provided regarding the date or location of the photograph, although many images that appear with it seem to have been captured on Epstein's Little St. James Island in the U.S. Virgin Islands. Hawking is already known to have visited Epstein's private island in March 2006 as one of 21 distinguished scientists attending a 5-day physics conference centered on gravity. The visit occurred before Epstein had been charged with any sexual crimes. Cambridge Professor Hawking is referenced at least 250 times in the Epstein files. However, being mentioned in the files does not constitute an accusation of any wrongdoing, and Dr. Hawking has never been accused of any crimes. Whilst Hawking's scientific achievements were celebrated worldwide, the professor was considered a huge mystery himself. The renowned British physicist was known for experiencing 2 marriage breakdowns, the first with his university sweetheart, Jane Hawking, with whom he had 3 children. His second marriage was to his nurse, Elaine Mason, ending in 2006 following what he characterized as a passionate and tempestuous 11-year union. At age 22, he received a diagnosis of amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, ALS, an uncommon variant of motor neuron disease, with doctors predicting only years of survival. Yet he surpassed all medical predictions, reaching 76, fathering 3 children, Lucy, Robert, and Tim, and marrying twice before passing away at his Cambridge residence. 5 decades earlier, at the time of his diagnosis, Professor Hawking had already encountered Jane Wilde, a languages student who helped lift him from profound despair. The pair became romantically involved after crossing paths at a 1962 gathering. Their 1965 wedding led to the births of Robert, Lucy, and Tim. Whilst Professor Hawking's condition initially advanced quickly, its progression eventually decelerated as he immersed himself in research and academic pursuits, exploring the fundamental principles governing the universe, uncertain of his remaining lifespan. Their romance was captured in The Theory of Everything, which depicted Hawking and Jane's courtship during his student years at Cambridge University in England. But whilst his professional life was thriving, the renowned physicist's marriage was experiencing tremendous pressure as his isolated wife grappled with the challenges of raising a young family and caring for a husband in a wheelchair. In 2015, Jane told The Telegraph that she was pushed to the edge of suicide multiple times while looking after her spouse and their children. In Professor Hawking's memoir, My Brief History, published in 2013, the physicist wrote that his wife feared he would die soon and, when that happened, she wanted someone who would support her and marry her. Speaking in 2015, Jane said of her marriage, "The truth was, there were 4 partners in our marriage. Stephen and me, motor neuron disease and physics. If you took out motor neuron disease, you are still left with physics." Mrs. Einstein, cited physics as a difference for her divorce. Jane developed a closer platonic bond with a friend named Jonathan Hellier Jones. The two met in 1977 after joining a local church choir. He relocated into the family's Cambridge apartment with Professor Hawking's approval, as he also wanted someone to look after his wife and children after his death. Although Jane and Jonathan maintained a platonic relationship for an extended period, Professor Hawking reportedly became increasingly dissatisfied with the arrangement. In 1990, after 26 years of marriage, he left Jane and relocated to an apartment with Elaine. 5 years later, he divorced his first wife and married the nurse. 2 years later, in 1997, Jane and Jonathan married. he developed a close bond with Elaine, one of his nurses, whose first husband had invented the computerized voice synthesizer that he relied upon. In 2004, nurses caring for Professor Hawking approached police with claims that his second wife was subjecting him to physical and emotional abuse. However, both the physicist and Elaine denied the allegations, and the investigation was subsequently dropped by police. The couple ultimately divorced in 2006. Following his separation from Elaine, Hawking was reportedly spotted at strip clubs accompanied by a team of nurses and assistants. Peter Stringfellow, owner of the notorious London nightclub, declared that Stephen was his all-time favorite celebrity guest, despite having welcomed rock stars such as Mick Jagger and Hollywood actors like Mel Gibson through his doors. Stringfellow maintained that Hawking brought him the greatest joy. He recalled, "I went and introduced myself and said, 'Mr. Hawking, it's an honor to meet you. If you could spare a minute or two, I'd love to chat with you about the universe.' Then I paused for a bit and joked, 'Or would you rather look at the girls?' There was silence for a moment and then he answered, 'The girls.' Whilst he possessed an understanding of concepts that most people couldn't begin to grasp, Professor Hawking openly admitted that he struggled to understand the opposite sex. During an interview with New Scientist to mark his 70th birthday on January 8, 2012, a reporter asked him what occupied his thoughts most during the day. "Women," he responded. "They are a complete mystery.